Stories that are similar across all religions of the world. In the beginning, there was nothing but infinite consciousness or spirit. Bis. Spirit was unborn, undying, eternal, without beginning or end, limitless, boundless, infinite, perfect, complete, and beyond human comprehension. It was pure bliss. Nothing could be added to it, for it already contained everything, so it remained in this state for all eternity. Then it occurred to the Spirit to manifest itself, to experience itself through experience. So it created the universe with all of its myriad stars and galaxies, manifested by the power of its thoughts. But even after creating this vast universe, the Spirit still did not find what it was looking for. The universe was just an empty display of material things. The Spirit wanted more, and so the Spirit created life, countless living beings with physical bodies, each born from a single cell. Each a unique expression of the infinite variety possible within the laws of nature. Still, this was not enough. The Spirit wanted more. And so, the Spirit created man, a living being with a body, like the others, but also with a mind capable of abstract thought and self-awareness. A soul that could think about thinking, capable of choosing between good and evil, of loving and hating, of being kind or cruel, of being compassionate or indifferent. With these new faculties came free will, the ability to make decisions independently from instinct or external direction. Man became like a god unto himself. He could shape his own destiny and determine his own future. The Spirit looked upon what it had created and saw that it was good. Yet the Spirit knew that man would never be truly happy until he realized his true nature, until he recognized that he was one with the infinite consciousness, that he was made of the same stuff as the universe itself. And so the Spirit decided to do one more thing. It breathed a part of itself into man, imbuing him with a spark of divine light, a fragment of the infinite consciousness, a reflection of the truth, which we call the soul. Man was truly complete, possessing both the ability to choose and the light of truth to guide him. The story I just told you is similar to creation stories told by many different religions around the world. Some versions come from ancient indigenous cultures, while others come from great world religions like Hinduism, Buddhism, and even Christianity. While the details may differ, the core elements are strikingly similar. A supreme being creates the world and everything in it, including humans. Humans are special because they have the ability to choose between good and evil. And if they follow the path of righteousness, they can return to the source from which they came. Now, I'm sure that many of you watching this video disagree with some of the points I made. Some of you believe that the universe is eternal and has no creator. Others believe that humans were created by supernatural beings in their current form, and that there was no evolution. And still others believe that humans were created by accident. But I want you to take a step back and look at all of this with an open mind. You see, stories like this aren't just fairy tales meant to explain how the world began. They're profound spiritual truths that point to reality beyond our limited perception. These stories express the idea that we are all connected, that we are all made of the same stuff, and that we all have the potential to return to the source from which we came. But sadly, most people don't realize this. Most people live their lives believing that they are separate from each other and from the natural world. They believe that they are isolated islands of individual consciousness surrounded by an endless ocean of ignorance. They fear death because they think it means the end. They think that if they die, then that will be the end of their story. They think that they will cease to exist. But those who have realized the truth see things very differently. They know that death is not the end, it is simply a transition, a movement from one state of being to another. They know that the soul is immortal and that it can never be destroyed. They know that the story of the individual ends when the physical body dies, but the soul continues on its journey. Now I want to share with you a quote from the ancient Indian text called the Katha Upanishad. It says, "As a person changes clothes when the old ones become worn out, the embodied soul, when the body becomes old and useless, takes on a new body according to its own nature." This quote expresses the idea that the soul is eternal and that it is constantly changing and evolving. It is like a person who changes clothes when the old ones become worn out. When the body becomes old and useless, the soul leaves it behind and enters a new one. But the soul is always the same. It's the same person. This is why it is so important to live a life of righteousness. We should always strive to be the best that we can be. we should always try to make the world a better place. Because when we die, we will be reborn into a new body based on the karma we have created. If we have lived a life of sin and suffering, we will be reborn into a body that experiences pain and misery. But if we have lived a life of kindness and compassion, we will be reborn into a body that knows peace and happiness. Now, I want to talk about another story that is similar to the one I told you earlier. It comes from ancient Greece and it tells the story of Pandora. Pandora was the first woman created by the gods. She was created to be a vessel of curiosity and evil. And when she opened the box that was given to her by the gods, all of the evils of the world came pouring out, and mankind was cursed to suffer for the rest of time. Some people might hear this story and think it's just a myth, a fairy tale that has no meaning for them. But what if I told you that there is a deeper truth hidden within this story? What if I told you that Pandora's box represents the human mind? You see, the human mind is like a box that contains both good and evil. When the mind is curious and inquisitive, when it seeks to understand the world around it, then good things happen. But when the mind is closed off and ignorant, when it refuses to learn and grow, then evil things happen. This is why it is so important to be curious, to be inquisitive, to never stop learning. We must always be willing to open our minds to new ideas and perspectives. Otherwise, we will never be able to escape Pandora's box. We will never be able to break free from the cycle of ignorance and suffering. So my brothers and sisters, I urge you to open your minds and hearts to the truth. Realize that you are all connected. You are all made of the same stuff. And you all have the potential to return to the source from which you came. Don't let ignorance and hatred keep you trapped in the cycle of suffering. Instead, embrace curiosity and compassion and allow them to be your guide. Only then will you be able to find true happiness and fulfillment. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends if you haven't already. Please subscribe to my channel and hit the bell notification so that you never miss any of my videos. Have a great day.